So let me ask you guys a question. Do you have an option when it comes to your martial arts training if it's something from the ground, aka grappling, and then if you have something from striking, or even what happens if it's weapons? Maybe you're going to a seminar, maybe you're just training for your own sake of well-being. Do you have an option in all of these three core ranges of fighting? Today, I'm going to help you with just that. I'm going to give you some chokes when it comes to grappling. I'm going to give you some striking, offense, and defensive techniques, and then I'm also going to work on a double stick drill that I have a really good time with that I think you guys will enjoy as well. Let's go ahead, let's not waste any time, let's get into this video. So I got the trusty grappling dummy. The idea behind using this over a partner is I've had several people over the comments say, hey, what do I do when I don't have a training partner, or how do I train this at home when I'm by myself? So that's kind of what I'm gearing this for, is for those that need, for those that want to train but don't have a training partner. So that's why I'm using this, and that's why I use the punching bag and all that stuff. I happen to be in this guard position, okay? When my feet are closed, we refer to it as closed guard. And I have my grappling dummy, and right now he happens to have a gi on. I have a gi on because I'm going Jiu-Jitsu style right now. Maybe next time I'll do a no-gi version of the same kind of idea. And so what's going to happen is I'm going to use, if he's controlling my biceps, I'm going to swim one to the inside, and I'm going to grab a collar. I'm going to open that collar so I can feed my hand in. And I want to get this wrist bone behind the ear. So I get that there. Then I open my guard. I keep one foot on their back, okay? And I'm going to pivot so I can shoot my hand underneath my other arm and find that collar. I grip, and in the process, as I reset, that's where the choke happens. I'm butterflying my wrist forward, and I'm pulling my elbows to the mat, and they tap out. Okay? If I do the other side, so first things first, I get a hold of the collar. And I can use this. I like grabbing the same side collar, and I like to get the fold because I can kind of push and pull. Pushing on the shoulder muscle, or pushing in that shoulder divot, I should say, gives me a little bit of space. And so then I swim my hand underneath, and it allows me to fit that hand in there, and I can grip the collar. Remember, when you're trying to do your cross choke, ideally we're looking for like the tag of the gi, or at least trying to get that thumb behind the ear. Then I open my guard, and I pivot myself off the line. From here, shoot your hand under. You're not going to be able to go over, so don't worry about it. Shoot your hand underneath, get that grip, recenter, elbows down. Second one, same setup. Okay, I'll do this side first. I get there, bring this hand underneath, open up the collar, get that grip. Now, when I pivot, for whatever reason, maybe this hand is defending so I can't go here, so I simply switch out, grab that wrinkle right there. This time I am going over the top. Grab that wrinkle, and then I recenter, and I do the same thing. I pull my elbows to the mat, and I'm still trying to butterfly that wrist. And that's where the choke happens. You have this next one. We refer to it as a collar feed choke. I'm going to feed the collar. So if you wanted, you could still come here. And a lot of times when it comes to this one, you're going to have to make sure there's some slack. Okay? And then as you pull this across, I open that guard, I get to my side, and then you feed that in there. This hand comes across and apply pressure. So the more you can pull this out, and the farther you can get it across the neck, the farther I can get my hip off to the side and feed that in there. So now I'm in that grip. Then this hand comes behind the head, and I just rotate, and I'm pulling and getting that choke. Collar feed choke. It's a little tough with the gi, but I guarantee you, like with a sweatshirt or something, it works awesome. And then you get my ultimate favorite choke when it comes to gi, like this. So what's going to happen is I swim my hands to the inside, and I sit up as best I can. I give them a hug. I feed my hand in, and I roll it underneath. And then I have what we refer to as the Ezekiel or the sleeve choke. And it's right there. Some things I've noticed. You can also do this by pulling forward and getting your hand behind them. But I don't like when I come in front, because
One, they're gonna see it coming and they'll slip out. So once I get this grip here, I roll it under. And then I want my hand to go on top of my forearm. That's where the choke gets tighter. If you go underneath, sometimes their head pops out. And that's the sleeve choke. So we're moving on to part two. Like I said, we're gonna do some striking. Today I'm gonna focus on just some hand striking. I'm not gonna worry about the feet too much, so you're not gonna worry about seeing my feet in the camera. I'm gonna work on what we call the framework or the 5 count. I got this from Guru Ram Balicki. It's been one of my all-time favorite combos. And so what's gonna happen is, I'm gonna throw a double jab, a cross, a hook, a cross. Okay? Double jab, cross, hook, cross. One more time. Double jab, cross, hook, cross. And that is what we refer to as the framework. Okay, facing the camera, double jab, cross, hook, cross. I chose to leave my belt on, my martial arts belt on, for boxing because it lets you see if you're using your hips. If I don't punch with my hips, the belt doesn't move a whole lot. But if I use my hips and I rotate, it has a good little Elvis looking thing going on, okay? My hips are moving. So that's why I did that. This part's gonna require a little bit of imagination on your part. We're gonna assume that somehow this person has weathered that storm and they're gonna throw a hook punch back at my head. And I'm gonna do one of 3 defenses right now. I'm going to snap back, I'm going to bob and weave, or I'm going to cover, okay? And when I teach cover to my classes, I used to teach it, and I've had to go back and forth with this. I used to teach it where I would say, hey, point your elbow at your opponent. That's guaranteeing that your head is well covered up and you're not going to get hit. However, as I've been working with Coach Icy Mike and Gabriel Varga, professional fighter, if you go this high, your ribs are exposed. And they're gonna see that, especially these high-level guys. So we've modified the cover to just being the glove kind of on the temple. This is where you're taking the hit. And so my glove's on my temple, I'm clenching my teeth, and I'm like, here we go, let's get hit, pow. And then I can use that to stay in the pocket. And then that way, if they decide to go low, it's a quick switch. But if people are like not really getting it, or maybe they're putting their hand too far forward, I will work with them on that, and then we'll work on this again. So I kind of count this as like beginner, and then this is intermediate advanced. And it's just to make sure when they throw that hook punch towards that ear, that jaw, that good deep hook punch, they're not just doing this and it's still coming in right behind that arm and clocking them, okay? So what happens is this. I'll move over here a little bit. So I have my double jab, cross, hook, cross. I snap back, and now I'm gonna counterattack. Because I'm going back, that motion is natural, so I snap back and I fire the cross, the hook, the cross. Okay, so again, double jab, cross, hook, cross, snap back, cross, hook, cross. And I'll do that one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, snap back, cross, hook, cross. If the hook punch is coming from this side, okay, we're gonna say they're throwing that rear hand power haymaker hook, they wanna knock us out. I'm gonna drop to this shoulder, roll under their arm, and then I come back up, okay? So I bob and I weave in this motion if the punch is coming from this side. If the punch is coming from that lead hook, this way, I go the opposite way. Something I don't want you guys to do, I'll switch my lead for you. I don't want you looking down and checking out their pedicure, okay? I don't want you looking down. I want you able to follow your camera or follow whatever you're looking at. If you're watching me on a monitor, whatever, you should be able to see that. So, you have the double jab, cross, hook, cross. If it's coming from the lead hook, I go underneath, cross, hook, cross. Now, I'm also kind of over-exaggerating how far I'm bobbing and weaving. Again, that goes into skill level. I'm teaching a little bit extra right now because I don't want you to cheat yourself and be like, and then still get punched in the head. I want you to kind of overdo it so then when it comes time for sparring, over time you'll figure out like, oh, I don't have to bob and weave quite so low. I can bob and weave less. So that's also why that's happening. The punch is coming from the opposite side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When I go here, the next punch is going to be hook, cross, hook. It's a different combo because my motion is changed. To come here to throw that back just feels awkward. So when I go here, hook, cross, hook versus cross, hook, cross, which that's what we refer to as our counter attacks. There are tons of them. You can do cross, upper cross, hook, body cross, hook, whatever you want. But the core two I use is cross, hook, cross, and hook, cross, hook. Double jab, cross, hook, cross. If it's that lead hook coming at me, I'm covering here. And again, I hook, cross, hook. And I like the hook, cross, hook because if I'm covering here, I know they're close enough. I don't want to cover and then try to throw that punch out. Just not really what works for me. Might work for you, go for it. If that's what works for you. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I cover. 1, 2, 3. If I do the other side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I cover, and then it goes back to the cross, hook, cross. One more time. Cover, hook, cross, hook. Cover, cross, hook, cross. It just depends on what side you're covering on to dictate which one of those you do. All right, part 3, weapons training. So what we're gonna jump into is something I like. It's referred to as Lacoste 8. It is a double stick drill. My last video, I did a single stick drill, so today I thought we would do a double stick drill. And this is gonna require me being chambered. Remember, we talk about open and closed, or open, chamber, open, chamber. The thing I do not wanna ever do when I have 2 sticks is I don't have nunchucks. Like, that's not how I wanna fight. Okay, I'll go here, that can swing out. I go here, that can swing out, okay? But I do not want to go here. Like I would have to lower, and it just doesn't really work. So please don't do that. I used to never let people do that. And then I did a seminar with Guru Ron, and he uses it to switch hands. And I was like, okay, so never say never really, I guess, but so I have the 2 sticks. So what's gonna happen? I'm gonna start on the side. My feet are square for right now. The footwork for this is simply just twisting footwork. And I'm gonna do a high, low strike and retract. And now I go high, high. And now I'm chambered on the opposite side. High, low strike, high, high. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hence the name Lacoste 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more time. That's the first one. Now we go 1, 2, high to low. 1, 2, high to low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if I go back to the first one, high, 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 low, high, low. So that's the first half of this series. And of course, you probably figured out already, now it's gonna be low, high. So 1, 2, low, high, 1, 2, low, high. Oh, sorry. One more time. And then last but not least, low, low. 1, 2, low, low. 1, 2, low, low. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 5, 4, 6, 7, 8. Putting it all together, guys. Nice and slow. 1, 2, high, high. 1, 2, high, high. 1, 2, high, low. High, low. Low, high. Low, high. Low, low. Low, low. And that is Lacoste 8. And so what I want to talk about today is working a game plan. And if you haven't already done this, you really should. You want to look at your martial arts training and say, okay, where am I weak? Am I weak in my striking? Am I weak in my grappling? Am I weak in my weapons defense? And I get it. I'm not advocating to say, hey, we all need to train weapons. I understand this. However, I do want you guys to think about like, hey,
A lot of people, like I live in South Carolina and I'm right next to a military base. A lot of us we carry knives on us. Like a lot of the farmers around here carry knives, a lot of the military folk carry knives. Do you have some form of defense when it comes to weapons? I'm not expecting you guys to say, yeah, this stick versus stick fight or this double stick versus double stick fight is gonna happen. I'm aware of that. However, you do need to have something when it comes to weapons training, weapons defense. So if you've never trained that, that's something you should implement or add to your training. You've seen Instagram videos or whatever, probably like in Jiu-Jitsu gyms, where the coach will throw like a rubber knife or rubber gun and they kind of scramble and deal with it. That's the ideal thing. That's what I'm talking about. Like, hey, what happens if the rules of the game are changed? We're not all playing on the same playing field. And then the same thing, if you're primarily a grappler and you have zero striking whatsoever and no takedowns, you know, you're in a disadvantage when it comes to self-defense. You're at a disadvantage when it comes to street fighting. You can be one of the best grapplers. I just watched a competition. I saw some awesome grappling. They all sat down to pull guard. You know, they sat down to scoot in to get the rest of the game going. And in the mats or in a competition, that's all fair. But when it comes to self-defense, when it comes to street fighting, which is, I view my martial arts as self-defense first and competition second. So when it comes to that kind of stuff, I think we're missing, we're lacking. I know Hickson Gracie talked about this years ago. He wanted to have like a penalty point for pulling guard or just sitting down and waiting. I think if you're competing or if you're training, you should still have a takedown in your repertoire, but maybe after 30 seconds, if nobody's getting anybody down, sure, pull guard. I don't want you to waste the whole match or all your energy trying to take somebody down, but I don't want you to not have a takedown at the same time. I think you should have something to get the fight from standing to ground. If they're a better striker than you, you have to clinch up, you have to lock in on them and get them down. Otherwise, you sit down, they're just gonna look at you. You know, and like, what are you doing over there? And they could easily, you know, take advantage of that with the kicks and the whatever, especially when you put shoes on and boots on and all that kind of stuff. So evaluate, what I'm trying to say is, so evaluate your training. If you're gonna say, let's just say you train Filipino weapons, okay? So when you look at that, where are you at in your double stick training? How comfortable are you in that realm? Okay, what about single stick training? What about single knife? What about double knife? What about stick and knife? And so break all these down and say, okay, I have answers for this, this, and this, but I don't have answers for this and this. And then that's something you can look at for your game. If you're talking Jiu-Jitsu, okay? How are you, and we use 4 core elements when it comes to grappling. And so we say, first level is to escape, be able to escape all major positions. And then if you want to add in escaping submissions in that mix, I'm cool with that. Then we say, okay, can I control or pin in all major positions? You're not going to pin somebody in guard, but you can control them in your guard. And then moving on, can I transition? Can I move in and out of all of the different positions and use sweeps and stuff to get from bottom to top? And can I use different takedowns and stuff and rolls to get from top to bottom? And then lastly, we have submissions. We have the attacks. And so don't get wrapped up in that. You can simply break it down like, how do I fare when someone has me full mounted versus when someone has me cross mounted, aka side control? How does somebody have when they have side mount or keisugatame? What about knee on belly? What about north south? What about when I'm in their closed guard? What about when I'm in their half guard? What about when I'm in their open guard? And you can break open guard down and like, how do I fare when it comes to spider or lasso or X or single leg X or de la Hiva? You can look at all these things individually and say, I have answers for these, but I don't have answers for these. And that's also how you can develop your game plan. And last but not least, when it comes to striking, same thing. How do you feel when it comes to your boxing offense? How about your boxing defense? What about your kickboxing, your kicking offense and your kicking defense? Do you have defenses for straight kicks versus round kicks versus spinning kicks? What about straight punches versus hook punches versus, I don't know, elbows or whatever? Think about that. That's kind of what I'm getting at is, or do you have takedowns? Do you not have a takedown? Maybe that's something you want to add to your game. So that's the Mat Chat for today. Awesome. Well, there's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thumbs up if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you really like what you see here. This is JD, and I'm out.